What's up, Weasel? Welcome to another a different kind of video. I'm moving again with the New Year's resolution. I want to do a little bit more music-based stuff. So we're here. I wanted to take a look back. I did a little bit of a video essay, and I wanted to take a look back at an album I didn't really like. So, let's go. I haven't done face cam in so long. This looks so weird. For Your Eyez Only is J. Cole's album right after, the big success of Forest Hills Drive. And to be honest, I kind of jumped into the album with like crazy high expectations. Like, I thought this album was going to be like an 11 out of 10 after Forest Hills Drive. I can't lie. But that is a fault of my own because Forest Hills was the first album that I truly, listened to the music and I actually finished front to back multiple times in like the same day. So it kind of created this unreal expectation, and I put this Forest Hills Drive on this pedestal that just like couldn't be touched for so long. And to be honest, For Your Eyez Only did not reach that, like, at all. It didn't. And I think for so many years I just didn't listen to it because I didn't really know how to feel about it. I didn't know really what to think about it. And maybe what's been like 8 years since that album's come out, I've decided to give it another listen. So, and I just gotta say, I definitely do think this album is good. For Your Eyez has kind of this mix of 2014 and Born Sinner Cole in it, and tells this story of self-reflection and looking forward at your legacy through this character James talking to his future daughter, telling stories, and a little bit of Cole's stories in there. And James is a character in the album itself, in the song Change, that Cole talks about, that is killed early on in his life at the age of 22, but he does change his name for the sake of privacy for himself. But this is a good album. It is majorly broken down into 3 parts that we are going to talk about. Major sections of life, falling in love, and the mentality of going through life where you are. And we're going to talk about it right now. But we got to talk about a sponsor first. We have a sponsor. Let me just jump here real quick. When I come back from work, when I come back from whatever I'm doing, and I got to get ready to stream, I got to get ready to record, there's only one thing I need when I need to get ready. That's some G Fuel, baby. You can see it right here. You can see it on the here. G Fuel is our first shadow sponsor of the channel. If you use the code right here, yeah, Polar, you'll get a whopping 0% off your order. That's right, people. Use that as soon as you can. I want to thank G Fuel for being the first shadow sponsor of the video, of the channel. And let's jump right into it. Part 1, depression and mental. The first part of this album tackles this sort of stated depression in the intro song For Whom the Bell Tolls that both the character James and Cole himself are in, that kind of set the tone for this album. And it transitions beautifully into this mentality of James believes the only 3 ways he can live are either to become an NBA star, a rapper, or just a drug dealer on the streets. And he kind of has to live with that, knowing society has created that's the only way he knows how to survive. And he battles with this throughout the song in Immortal, talking about how he needs to do this to make ends meet, to survive in this town, and how society has shown if he's gonna make it either way, it's either this or some kind of fame and fortune. And it's a little messed up, but it's kind of how the world's working in this album, in his eyes. But then we move on to Deja Vu, and this is kind of like a big moment in James's character arc in the album. This is where James essentially falls in love with somebody he meets at the coffee shop that he tries to hit up, and then he kind of figures out later on that she's already taken. But as we know in the album, later on he does get the girl. He does, something else changes, and he gets to be with her. And we will talk about that part a little bit later in a different part of the album. But that's when we move on to kind of the other heavy song. I guess I kind of want to call it maybe the second, third heaviest song in the album, Ville Mentality. It's kind of from both perspectives of James and of Cole, talking about how their hometown is kind of keeping them in this mentality, in this loop and cycle that is just, you know, going to keep them there. It's not going to move them forward anywhere. It's not going to really do anything for them. It's really just, you know, staying in the same state over and over and over, just doing the same thing and just being cursed to this for the rest of their lives. And somehow, some way, they need to leave this town and break that cycle to help them. And it's a very good conclusion to the first part of the album, to the first section, really. Part 2, Love and Change. To start the second part of the album, we go to the first interlude and part 1 of She's Mine. This is, to be fair, one of the easier songs in the album. It's fairly out there, like right on the floor of what the song is about. It's just talking about how he falls in love, and this is where we get, you know, kind of the trademark little corny J. Cole lines, you know, something like plus the head game stronger than a few Excedrin, something like that. But I mean, it's fine. It's a little chuckle throughout the song, but we dive into the corny a little bit later, to be honest. Now, the first song, main song in this section is Change, which kind of talks about, you know, Cole. He's either going back or he's actually seen throughout his life. A lot of people try to make these changes, and he sees that they're only, you know, external. They're, you know, going to church or they're trying to change some sort of lifestyle, and he really only sees that they're not really changing anything inside themselves. They're only trying to show that they change something, and the only real change they're going to get is if they really truly look inside and change themselves. But at the end of the song, he also does talk about James and how he was killed towards the end, saying rest in peace, you know, taken too soon at the age of 22, which is crazy. I can't, that's such a wild thing, but it's a important ending to the song that kind of brings us into another kind of dangerous situation that Cole retells. That's when we move into Neighbors. That's when he does the retelling of this house he rented for himself and for most of Dreamville that they were just staying at to kind of, you know, decompress for anything. And obviously the neighbors didn't really like their kind of people in the neighborhood. And so, you know, one day all the neighbors called the SWAT team onto the house. And in the real life scenario of this, you know, it was just a stroke of luck that nobody was in the house. So, you know, nothing too terrible went on. And it kind of goes into this thing back into, you know, the theme of change, where Cole talks that there's not really much of change he can do, saying things, you know, like so much for integration. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm moving back to the South Side, putting out this message that, you know, no matter where he goes, no matter what he does, his appearance is never going to change the outcome of what he thinks is going to be, you know, something so simple. And it's just it's painful to see something like that. Now we get to the end of the second part of the album, or what I believe to be the second part of the album, with what I believe, and I know most of y'all believe to be the corniest song of the album, Folding Clothes. And now I'm saying this not in the worst way. Being corny doesn't mean it's going to be a bad song. It's still fairly good. It's another song like the interlude She's Mine, where it's all right there, all on the floor for you to see. It's just a song about Cole or James being, you know, so in love. They just want to do little things for their significant other while they sit back and relax, you know, fold clothes, watching Netflix, things like that, you know, just the simple things. The simple things, which he obviously says in the song as well. And it really helps kind of cement this idea that the girl in the previous song, Deja Vu, is the girl he's falling in love with and the girl he's, you know, continuing this relationship with. And going as far as say things, you know, like, I never thought I'd see the day I drank almond milk, showing that without him even noticing, he is, you know, changing himself for this person. And it ends on a very nice note. But now you move on to the final part of the album, Legacy. So the final part of the album starts with the second interlude and the second part to She's Mine, which is essentially kind of the same as part 1, but we're talking about a different kind of love here. This is where we talk about James's newborn daughter, and he's talking about the love of a newborn child, saying things like, I'm gonna drop the tough guy act. I'm feeling wanted, feeling needed, you know, just feeling the true happiness of becoming a brand new father. And this is what carries us into the final 8-minute track for Your Eyez Only, which is kind of this posthumous message to James's daughter that is given to her after he dies. He starts talking about things in his life, how he lived in the fast lane. He was always on death's door, dodging cops or other gang members, never knowing when his final day is. And from that, he goes directly to talking to his daughter, talking about if she's given to this at the right time, she's going to be old enough to understand this. He doesn't know how she's going to feel about him, if she's going to spite him or hate him for how he lived, or how maybe she's dating somebody like him, which he truly hopes doesn't happen. So, something like this doesn't happen again. Kind of just talking to her about how he hopes she's going to be, how he thinks she's going to be. And after he talks to her for a little bit, James goes on to talk about the regrets in his life, how he used to have dreams as a child and they faded very early on. I think he says at like the age of 8 in the song, how his drug dealer dad died in a shooting, how he got killed in a shooting, and that after he died, he picked up the quote unquote family business from there. And it's a very heavy song, full of regrets, full of hopes, and full of just reflection on himself, that end with James going to Cole, talking about their life and James kind of seeing some sort of vision of how his life is ending soon, in this kind of like little conversation that they have at the end of the song. It's an excellent roundup to the story, ending right with a tape closing, just how the first song, For Whom the Bell Tolls, starts with a tape starting. It's a roundup to complete the story, and it's a very good album. It's a very good story. I'm really bad at conclusions, but I mean, it tells about the life and the mental cycle of James and Cole going through their hometown and taking two completely different paths and ending up in two completely different situations. But I'm really glad I went back to this album because it's phenomenal. It's really good. I want to say like an 8-9 out of 10. It's definitely still not up there for Forest Hills Drive for me, but it's still very good, and I'm glad I gave it that second chance, that second listen, because keeping this in the vault would have been crazy. Keeping this in the vault would have been absolutely insane. But I really did enjoy this album. I hope you guys kind of enjoy this kind of like retrospective I'm doing. It's kind of very brand new to me. I'm still very awkward on how to do this, but I hope it came out decent. I hope it came out okay, but I want to know what you guys think about For Your Eyez Only. Is there an album that you guys didn't like on the first listen and you haven't gone back to it, or maybe you've already gone back to it and you completely changed your opinion on it? But let me know in the comments, guys. I will catch you guys in the next video.